I'm Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter. I'm the head coach for JobSearchCoachingHQ.com. That's a site with curated information that you can watch, listen to, or read that will help you find work more quickly. Now, I've been coaching someone for not all that long, and he was describing a situation to me at work, and I just wanted to hit him. And I'll just simply say that's my stuff, because I've listened to this same story in different forms many, many times. Here's what he's going through. He works for an organization. New manager comes on. Now, this guy's reviews have all been extremely good. Everyone says positive things about him. New manager comes on, starts hiring his own team of people from his last organization, and this guy just starts to hunker down. He's trying real hard. And it's kind of like, in the restaurant business, the owner is going to come in, and suddenly the restaurant staff is in a frenzy, and they're all trying to put on a good show for the owner. Who runs multiple restaurants. And you pause for a second and go, if you're worried about the restaurant closing, your performance on this one day isn't going to make a difference. The decision's already been made. Well, the same thing exists here. If, regardless of the person's performance, the decision's already been made, and what he chose to do was hunker down and do a good job and not really focus on the relationship with his boss, or with the fact that his boss was hiring people that he already knew. So I just want to point out to you some of the insanity that many of us do. And I know I've made this mistake myself, so it's part of the reason I can recognize this. And, I learned my lesson years ago about this. The first thing you have to do really is pay attention to your relationship with the boss. Even in an existing organization where there has been no change, your relationship with your manager is really pivotal, because they dictate whether or not you get the plum assignments, whether you get supported in moving up, moving ahead, things along those lines. And if they're starting to hire from the outside, there's an indicator there that you don't really have a future here, unless it's time to start looking at things. So always focus on your relationship with your manager. Also think in terms of, does your manager's manager think of you as the expert? Experts often are seen as indispensable. And I always think in terms of, what can you do to present yourself as world class? Now, the notion of being world class can't suddenly start when you feel threatened. You have to always think in terms of your organization and how you're perceived, how you're seen at that firm. And as a result, to not see yourself in that way, you're leaving yourself vulnerable, because if you don't see it, they sure don't. And you have to ask yourself a question. And the question really is, why should they keep you? What is it about your performance that makes you unique in the organization? And it's not just to simply say, I'm a good worker, I'm always there on time. Well, and think words to that effect. There are a lot of good employees out there who will also be there on time. What can you do that's special? What makes you world class and distinguishes you from others? If you can't answer that question, you're dispensable. And it's no surprise that this individual who I coach suddenly finds himself on the outside. And really the only thing that you can do at a time like this is start hunkering down, and then go to your boss and say, I've got to apologize to you. I've been off my game for a little while, but if you haven't noticed, I feel like I'm back again. And giving you the kind of effort and results that you've been expecting of me. I apologize for this, this period of time. I've had some struggles, outside of work, and I took it out in the workplace. But at the end of the day, I just want you to know I'm back, and I hope I could resolve these things. Now, again, back to the initial thing about reading the tea leaves at work, you have to notice how you're being seen. You have to notice what's going on around you. And all you can really do is your best. And once you start to notice that these things are going on around you, you have to be out there networking to try and find alternative situations where you're appreciated. Again, someone I coached recently works for a small firm in the city I live in. And he's been frustrated at work. He's tried working hard. It hasn't really worked. And he started to reach out to people who've already left his firm and got to someone who has already found a position, introduced him for a role, and he starts in a week. Remember, statistically, your network is always going to be the place where you're going to get the results. It may not be directly from them, and that they may not be the ones who hire you, but they may introduce you to someone who will be the one who hires you. So I just want to remind you, pay attention to the signals around you. And yes, you want to be putting in great work, but don't ignore what's going on and ensure, the classic example is the person who eats at their desk all the time. They never go out to lunch. They never talk to people in other departments. They never talk to people outside the organization. As a result, when they're suddenly let go in situations like I've been outlined, they're completely unprepared. There's no resume, no up-to-date LinkedIn profile, no network in place to help them. You don't want to be caught short like this. You've got to pay attention to all the tea leaves at work and all the signals that are going on and take action to protect your interests. After all, you're the chairman of the board of your organization. You have shareholders, your wife, husband, partner, kids, whomever. You are a corporate entity in and of yourself, and you have to protect your shareholders. I'm Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter. If you'd like my support in your job search, whether that's with critiquing your resume because you're not getting results, critiquing your LinkedIn profile because no one's reaching out to you, helping you prepare for interviews because you're just stinking up the joint all the time, or help with a salary negotiation, connect with me on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/IN/the Big Game Hunter. Mention that you saw the video because I just like knowing I'm helping some folks. And once we're connected, message me to indicate you're interested in coaching. I want to be clear, I don't work for free any more than you do. I am going to charge you for this, and it's going to be well worthwhile. And I'll just simply say, if you just have a couple of questions about your search, 2 ways to reach out to me. Number one is if you're an iOS user, there's an app called Magnify where we can have a video conversation, or there's prestoexperts.com where we can have a phone call. Hope you have a great day. Take care.